In one of the most interesting years in the history of the San Francisco 49ers, not one, not two, not three, but 4 quarterbacks got injured at some point. And when you add that to the emergence of Brock Purdy, it makes our quarterback situation very interesting.
Purdy, lofting, going deep, has McCaffrey, he's got it! Touchdown, San Francisco!
Going into this season with Trey Lance as a starter, many were curious about how well the 49ers would do, considering that they made the conference championship game behind a 10-7 record the previous year.
There he goes again, Kittle trying to break free.
Well anyways, against Chicago in week 1, things were going a bit below average as Trey's 160 and a pick led to a 19-10 loss to the Bears for what was a pretty underwhelming start to the year. So with that in mind, as you could guess, going into the following game at home against Seattle, I'm sure Trey and the 49ers were looking to get back to business. And well,
Lance kind of got folded underneath as Monet and Barton both made the hit.
Just so unfortunate.
To make matters worse, Trey got injured before the end of the first quarter, as his season was done before it really even started, and so good old Jimmy G was thrown right back into the mix. Although it was a bit of a tricky spot for Jim to be in, he played pretty well, as his 150 and touchdown passing was able to help the 49ers smack Seattle 27-7. Considering how up and down his play had been over the past few years, to many it seemed like simply a one-off performance. But over the course of the next 9 weeks, Jimmy led the team to a 6-3 record behind some of the best play of his career.
Garoppolo, pressure, sees it, throws it, McCaffrey, he's got it!
Over 2,400 yards and 16 touchdowns in what was quickly becoming a very impressive turnaround for San Francisco had Jimmy looking dangerous going against Miami, but I guess destiny had other plans.
That left ankle gets rolled up on, and Garoppolo off on a cart.
I guess Jimmy wasn't Destiny's child, as he became the second quarterback to go down for the 49ers, as they now had to turn to Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy in order to keep the momentum going. To say that there was a lot of pressure on Brock to not only just start for one of the most popular franchises in football, but a team that was on a 4-game winning streak, and upon that looking to make a legitimate playoff push, is what I like to call a massive understatement to say the least. But even though all the odds were stacked against him, and even though he was the last pick of the draft, Brock sure as hell didn't play like it.
Purdy loading up, going deep, he's got a man, Ayuk in, touchdown 49ers!
Game after game, quote-unquote Mr. Irrelevant played like a 10-year vet, as he was able to help lead San Francisco to 4 wins in a row behind some more than impressive play. In fact, played good enough to have Brock in the running for the Offensive Rookie of the Year after less than half a season as a starter, which is absolutely wild, even though he likely won't win. In only a few weeks, Brock went from practically an unknown third string to one of the most talked about players in football, as he was able to do enough week after week to help lead San Francisco to the 2nd seed with a 13-4 record. Sure, Brock may have played well in the regular season, but there were doubters of all sorts saying that he would crumble in the playoffs, and so as you could imagine, there was a lot riding on his performance against Seattle in the wild card.
Purdy, great protection and wide open is Kittle.
Even though San Francisco was a 2 seed, nothing is guaranteed when you play against a division rival, and that idea came into play as the two went back and forth all first half, as Seattle went into the break with the lead. Down by 1 going into the 3rd quarter, the pressure was on Brock and the 49ers to get back to business, and upon that show why they had won 10 games in a row in the first place. Needless to say, it was a bit of a tall task for a rookie 7th-round quarterback, but somehow Brock was able to do his thing once again.
Purdy underneath, Deebo Samuel runs for a first down. He's in trouble, but keeps it alive and finds Mitchell.
What was once a close game got out of hand quickly, as San Francisco was able to score touchdown after touchdown and ultimately beat the Seahawks 41-23. Not too shabby for rookie quarterback, because even though he had quite a bit of help in the former studs like Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and George Kittle, Brock was still able to put up over 330 yards and 3 touchdowns of his own. So although the regular season play was huge, the fact that Mr. Irrelevant showed up in the playoffs was even more important for his future. So going up against Dallas at home again was shaping up to be quite a challenge for the Iowa State stud and the rest of the 49ers. Well, it turns out it was, and in a very slow-moving game from beginning to end, following some hiccups by Dak and the Cowboys, Brock was able to lead the 49ers to a win with the help of good old George Kittle.
Odin up over the middle! Oh, what a catch by Kittle!
A 19-12 win doesn't hit the same as a 41-23, but it was still a win nonetheless, and now had San Francisco going up against the on-fire Eagles in Philly for the conference title. If there was pressure on Brock in Seattle or Dallas, well, that pressure was on a different galaxy against the seemingly unstoppable Jalen Hurts-led Eagles, as many thought that San Francisco was dealing with more than they could handle. And you know what? I guess they were right.
Down and 5. Sanders gets it left side. Big room and a touchdown for Sanders.
From the very beginning, you could just tell that Philly was not joking around. And although they may have had some help from the refs, considering what happened over the course of the next few minutes, I doubt it would have even mattered.
There's something going on here.
It looks like he's saying here that he can't throw.
Not one, not two, but 3 starting quarterbacks went down for San Francisco over the course of only one season. But wait, there's more.
That is eerily similar to the play that sent Brock Purdy out with the injury.
I've watched quite a bit of football, but I've never seen a situation in which no quarterbacks were available. But it happened for San Francisco, because even when Brock came back in, he could barely throw a screen. So the fact that they got smacked 31-7 wasn't all that big a shock. But hey, on the bright side, Brock was perfect passing the ball with a wild 4 completions for 23 yards. On the not so bright side, Brock tore his UCL and will have to rehab it all offseason. But hey, you know what they say, pressure makes diamonds, which I'm sure Brock is well aware of as good old Mr. Relevant. Sorry to stop the video, but since you're here, it'd be awesome if you could subscribe, like, turn on post notifications, and comment down below who you think's gonna win the Super Bowl. But anyways, back to the video. At the moment, the future for the 49ers quarterback situation is about as unique as it gets. Many thought that maybe Brady would come back home and finish his career in the Bay, but then,
I'm retiring for good.
And people also thought that maybe Rodgers would also want to come back home and play with the team that he was interested in since the very beginning. But,
got any news you want to share with us?
Not going to San Fran.
Unless Derek Carr throws his hat in the ring, which I doubt Kyle would even entertain, then it seems like the 49ers are going with someone inside the organization or potentially through the draft. But honestly, if I had to guess, I think that Brock is going to be the number 1, and the 49ers are going to trade Jimmy somewhere like Vegas or New York or maybe even Tampa Bay. But no matter the case, he's pretty much gone, and so it seems like Trey will take the 2 spot. All of this is far from set in stone, and just like always, there will be an offseason quarterback battle once Brock is able to do anything football related. But based on his play the past few months, it seems like he's a starting spot on lock.
Action pass, Purdy down the sideline. It's Jennings! First catch of the day!
Since the 49ers drafted Trey super high, I doubt that they would just give up on him if he was outperformed by Brock. So I could see them using him as like a Taysom Hill type, or maybe they'll trade him for more capital in future drafts. I guess we can only wait and see. But anyways, what a year it has been for Brock. Going from Mr. Relevant to playing in the NFC Championship game to tearing his UCL and now having to rehab all offseason. It's been quite a roller coaster ride, but one that has him in a good spot going into the next year. Since Kyle has already said that Jimmy isn't coming back, as long as Brock does well this offseason, it's looking like he's going to be the starting quarterback for the 49ers going into 2023. Something I'm sure he would have never thought was possible until a few months ago.
One skill of block, going deep, Purdy's got him! Touchdown!
In San Francisco, Brock fits like a glove with Kittle, CMC, Debo, and Ayuk. Because even though he has a long way to go and his play is far from perfect, the 49ers have an incredible roster around him. So as long as he's able to improve year after year, they could very well be one of the best teams in football for the next decade. But hey, that's just what I think. Do you guys think that Brock is going to be that guy for the 49ers? Or did he just have a lucky year? Comment down below your thoughts. Brock Purdy went from Mr. Relevant to a superstar in the making with San Francisco. So it should be pretty dang awesome to see what he'll do next.
They'll let him throw again. Wide open Deebo Samuel. All the way!
Thanks for watching the video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to subscribe, like, turn on post notifications, and comment down below what stuff you want next. But anyways, see you all soon, and peace out.